Imagine a battle where the fate of nations hangs in the balance. A remote outpost surrounded by dense jungles, fierce guerrilla fighters, and relentless bombardments. Dien Bien Phu was no ordinary battle. It was a clash that changed the course of the Vietnam War and the Cold War. How did a small group of Vietnamese guerrillas defeat one of the most powerful armies in the world? Welcome to History Stories. Join as we uncover the secrets of this pivotal moment on how the French lost the battle at Dien Bien Phu. Chapter 1. The French Dilemma. Southeast Asia was the center of international intrigue in the late 1940s. Although colonialism has a long history there, following World War II, things were shifting. Under French authority, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos made up Indochina, the starting point for a confrontation. A frustrating standoff had been achieved in the First Indochina War by 1953. General Henri Navarre of the French Union was having difficulties suppressing the elusive Viet Minh rebels, who were headed by Ho Chi Minh and Vo Nguyen Giap. In their efforts to seize these sites, the Viet Minh had sustained significant losses, and the French maintained crucial positions protected by artillery and air power. At Dien Bien Phu, the French, with their overwhelming numbers, seemed invincible. They fielded an army of 445,000 soldiers, while the Viet Minh, then known as the Vietnamese Regular Army, had just 252,000 troops. The French strategy was fortified with elite paratroopers, armored divisions, and mechanized infantry drawn from various corners of their vast empire, yet Vo Nguyen Giap had a plan that defied the odds. Giap, with a deep understanding of his people's aspirations, leveraged nationalism and drew on a massive base of support from common citizens. He mobilized a local militia of 2 million, forcing the French to spread their military thin across Indochina. The question was, could the Vietnamese forces outmaneuver the French using guerrilla warfare tactics? Chapter 2. General Navarre's Gamble. General Navarre faced a challenging mission in 1953, score battlefield victories to gain a diplomatic upper hand in Indochina. His game plan? Concentrate French forces in the Red River Delta, abandon far-flung garrisons, and train local Vietnamese troops to free up French units for mobile operations. The U.S., led by President Eisenhower, chipped in with financial support, but they had one condition. France had to drop peace talks with Ho Chi Minh and get on board with West German remilitarization in Europe. In a bold move, the French dropped their elite paratroopers into Dien Bien Phu in November 1953, establishing an airland base with heavily fortified strongpoints. They hoped to bait the Viet Minh into a decisive battle where they could secure a victory. Little did they know that Giap had an entirely different strategy in mind. Chapter 3. The Flaws in Dien Bien Phu. Dien Bien Phu's shortcomings were quite obvious. The distance from Hanoi caused the air support to move more slowly than a sloth during a sprint, with gaps between bastions that left some people hanging out to dry. The base's fortifications were as solid as a house of cards in the wind. Furthermore, their weaponry was essentially exposed, and the airport may as well have been marked with a sniper's welcome placard. However, the French believed they could manage it, similar to believing you can balance burning torches on a bicycle. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, Vo Nguyen Giap and his Viet Minh soldiers, fully equipped and backed by China, transformed the area into a boiling cauldron of conflict. Maintaining composure in this situation was as challenging as holding a sizzling hot potato. Artillery barrages from the Viet Minh started on January 31, 1954, and they persisted sporadically for 6 weeks. The persistent bombardment caused the French positions to collapse, leaving the valley in ruins. The French were aware of how strong the oncoming attack would be. Chapter 4. The Turning Point. On March 11, 1954, the Viet Minh launched probing strikes on the northern bastions, revealing their evolving tactics. They unleashed precise artillery bombardments on French positions, followed by well-coordinated attacks. Beatrice Bastion, secluded on a hill, fell on March 14, with significant French fatalities. A counterattack to save the Gabriel Bastion failed, and a quarter of the French artillery ammunition was lost in a single day. As Dien Bien Phu was about to collapse, General Navarre turned to the United States for help. requesting Operation Vulture to send heavy B-29 bombers to destroy Viet Minh artillery and anti-aircraft positions. The U.S. struggled with the choice because some wanted to use atomic bombs or other forms of military involvement. However, the U.S. decided against formal military engagement due to worries about resources and Chinese interference. Chapter 5. Last Stand. The Viet Minh seized the main camp on May 7th, leaving only the remote Isabelle Bastion under French rule. Faced with dire circumstances, a decision was made to launch an all-out offensive. Only 78 French soldiers managed to escape, while the rest met their fate on the battlefield or in enemy captivity. Dien Bien Phu had fallen. For the French, the Battle of Dien Bien Phu proved to be disastrous. It signaled the end of French determination in the First Indochina War, despite significant losses for the Viet Minh. Vietnam was split into North and South Vietnam as a result of the Geneva Accords of July 1954. The U.S.-Vietnam War began as a result of growing U.S. concern about the development of communism. With far-reaching effects on both Vietnam and the Cold War as a whole, the Battle of Dien Bien Phu marked a significant turning point in the First Indochina War. It exposed the shortcomings of colonial powers and prepared the way for a fresh war that would alter the path of history. And that, my friends, is the remarkable story of the Battle of Dien Bien Phu, a pivotal conflict that redefined the course of history in Southeast Asia and beyond. This battle, with its strategic blunders and profound consequences, left an indelible mark on the First Indochina War, ultimately leading to the division of Vietnam and the dawn of the U.S.-Vietnam War. What are your thoughts on this crucial turning point in history, the Battle of Dien Bien Phu? How do you think it shaped the events that followed? We'd love to hear your insights in the comments below. And remember to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button if you found this video informative. Stay tuned for more captivating stories from the pages of history.